Yahuah is your keeper.
Yahuah is your keeper.
Yahuah is your shade on your right hand.
Yahuah is your shade on your right hand.
The sun shall not strike you by day.
The sun shall not strike you by day,
Nor the moon by night.
nor the moon by night.
Yahuah will keep you from all evil.
Yahuah will keep you from all evil.
He will keep your life.
He will keep your life.
Yahuah will keep your going out and your coming in.
Yahuah will keep your going out and your coming in.
From this time and forth forevermore.
For this time and forevermore.
Hallelujah.
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 Hallelujah, hallelujah. So, Mr. Carr, without further ado, we're going to have our executive Moray Yahuah, been up to the top of the mount. He's going to deliver another dynamic lesson in the name of the Father through his Son, Yahusha Mashiyach. Hallelujah. All right.
Moray been to the gym. Toss me off the stage. Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
We thank the Most High Yahuah for all that has been said and all that has been done. We thank him for his greatness. We thank him for his goodness, kindness, and his mercy. We just thank him for all things. I thank him for each and every last one of you guys. Love each and every last one of you. And most of all, just thank him for allowing us to see another set apart Shabbat.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. So we're going to get right into our lesson. And we're going to pick up from last week. And we're still in the Gentile series, or the two houses of Israel, explaining and giving understanding on who the New Testament Gentiles are. And we just thank the Most High, just, allowing each and every one to just be able to come back out today. We don't take these things for granted. It's not like we're coming up in here on our own power, because we don't work ourselves up by our own power. He gives us life, health, and strength, so we thank him for that. And, what Moray was saying earlier is true, and we have to keep that in mind, because what we have to do is learn how to depend on each other as a nation.
That's right.
As a nation, we have to learn how to be there, depend on each other, even when we look at the scripture. Even coming out of the wilderness, the Most High Yahuah, he established that. Because, Israel came out of Mizraim, or Egypt, as a mixed multitude. But do you not know he still made a difference between them and the stranger, even in the wilderness?
Absolutely, absolutely. Hallelujah.
The stranger was not partaking in all the festivals. There were certain things they could not do.
That's right.
And he made that difference. Even though they came out together, after the 40-year test or trial of wandering through the wilderness, did he not, before they entered into the land of Canaan, what did he tell them? He separated Israel from those that sojourned with them. And told them, when you go into the land, do what? Take them and possess them. Allow them to be your handmaids and servants. He separated, and he made a difference between the nation of Yashra'al and the nations that sojourned with them. And so when we look at that, we also have to keep in mind that his marriage and his ketubah, it was given to his people. Yeah, he allowed others to come in amongst them. He allowed others to live amongst Yashra'al. But he separated, even though his law was for all of them to keep, he still distinguished who his people were. He has always done that. So we must keep that in mind and realize that's what we do have to be careful. You know, when it comes to building a house, you know, it's important to have the members of that house, of that family, to be there, to instruct, and to delegate and give information. Because you'll find out a lot of times, people don't have your best interest in heart. And I tell people all the time, even when you deal with the nations right now, and certain nations in particular, you see a lot of things happening to our people, even when you turn on the news. You hear a president who will say anything and allow anything to come out of his mouth to degrade our people or what have you. And you got some people say, well, I didn't vote for him. You'd be surprised what a lot of people will say in front of you, but you don't know what they did behind that curtain. You can tell they support him and vote for him because they never speak out against what he does or whatever he said, what he do. If you don't speak out against it, or you don't take action or say or do anything, that means you support whatever he does.
Or you forget that they got their office.
Exactly. Exactly. And so, this is how you know they're showing you something. And I tell people, always remember, Yahuah has this man in office. And it's for a reason. This is the first president who's been this bold to say and do anything like that. You know what I'm saying? But it's for a reason because it lines up with the times that we are in. And that's why it's very important that we understand where we are within these times and within these days. Because, you know, when you look at what happened when we were in Mizraim, it wasn't the Pharaoh by himself who had disdain or hatred or what towards Israel. It was the people as well. Those working for the Pharaoh, they all had it. So when you come and you turn on your television, you begin to observe things. Always remember what happened to our forefathers, our ancestors, when we was in their first captivity in Mizraim. It said, Yahuah in what? He hardened Pharaoh's heart. That doesn't mean that Pharaoh was innocent before Yahuah hardened his heart, that he was this good guy, but Yahuah all of a sudden put a spirit of hatred or something in him to make him turn against Yashra'al. No. When you go look up that word hardened, you're going to see that say he magnified that hatred towards Israel that was already in the Pharaoh. And that's what you're seeing today. There's a hatred towards the nation of Yashra'al. And what is happening is, it's being increased and multiplied. It looked like it's one person, the president. No. It's a people. It's a people. That's why they won't say nothing or speak out on your behalf. And when they do call themselves speaking out on your behalf, they're trying to use your situation to gain political favor for themselves, to establish and set up laws for themselves. How do y'all didn't find it strange that even during the civil rights movement, who was always side by side with the blacks?
Homosexuals.
Yeah, but right. But I'm not saying, but as a so-called nation or people, who?
The Jews.
The Jewish people. Do y'all not know who wrote every speech that Martin Luther King spoke? Y'all thought those were his writings? He had Jewish counterpart writing his speeches. He didn't write those. So what happens is, now, people have learned to take the woes and the trials of the nation of Yashra'al going through. It seemed like they were marching in support of the blacks during the civil rights. No, they were using that story to gain political gain. So now they can take your story. Now they can implement legislation to protect themselves down the road. They're going to take your story to write laws, which they know that there's a system set up already in place that's not going to protect you with these laws. But if they can take your story and write laws to cover, so-called cover everybody, now it puts them in a position. Now when they get political office, you ever notice your government is made up of more Ashkenazi Jewish people than, I mean, just the major positions of cabinet that's filled, it's filled by them.
Oh, yeah.
They write the legislation. But you notice you can't say anything about them?
Quick sweat, get out.
You look like you're going to blink your eye the wrong way at them. You'll end up in jail. Everything called what? Anti-Semitism?
Yeah.
But that came about with your story. That legislation wasn't in place. It's because they marched with you, took your story. Now they have a body of legislation to protect them, that the same body of legislation does not protect you. And so this is what you're seeing. You're seeing the Pharaoh of this system. You're seeing his heart being hardened. There's a boldness with this stuff they're doing now. It used to be they used to try to hide racism. They have become emboldened with this stuff now. And that's what they're doing. But the Most High wants it to be magnified. There's a reason why he let the Pharaoh do what he did. There's a reason why he magnified that hatred in Pharaoh's heart. He wanted the punishment to be justified for what he was going to do to Mizraim. And did he hand that behind them on the platter, as Maury said? Do y'all know the esteem that Mizraim held at that time? Did he not say he was going to make Mizraim or Egypt a base nation? People don't talk about Egypt no more. You can't even tell it had the splendor that it was had. But that's what's going on. He's going to do the same thing here. He's going to do the same thing here. And that's why it's important that we as a people, we learn what's going on, what time we're in, and what's taking place. I was thinking about, I want to do a lesson so bad, but it's going to be so time for somebody to put it together, about the Kitzkahel or Ezekiel's wheel. There's a wheel in the middle of a wheel. There's another wheel. These are cycles. These are jubilees. Each one of these wheels is a jubilee cycle pertaining to Israel. So which wheel are we living in? Which cycle are we living in right now? But if you understand the cycles, you understand exactly what's going on and the importance of the wheel. When Ezekiel had that vision, there was something going on with the nation of Yashra'al. What was it? What was the Most High revealed to him? What did he see? What was the condition of the nation? What condition was the nation of Yashra'al in at that time? In each cycle, you'll see a different reign. You'll see a different rule. You'll see the nation of Yashra'al in a different position. And now we're in a position where the nation of Yashra'al is being, we're not getting ready to be restored. He's restoring the nation of Yashra'al. And so we want to keep these things in mind, and that's why it's important to understand, even with the two houses, why the two houses? Why are we even talking about the two houses? What we're talking about, Jews and Gentiles. It's very important to understand what's going on, because there has to be a reunification. But the reunification is the key to everything else. Because something is going on within the nation of Yashra'al. And why are we being reunited? What's the purpose of the reunification? Because there cannot be a gathering or coming together with Mashiyach during this time unless there's a Reunification first. Now, what is he reunifying? And the nation is what? The bride. Y'all ever ask yourself, why was this bride so-called treated in this manner? Why was she scattered abroad? Why was she allowed to go and endure the things that she endured? Because remember, they were betrothed. A betrothal. There was never a marriage, a consummation. So the duty of the father for his son is to do what? Find him an acceptable bride. You know, an Israelite father can't just go pick any old man-made woman and bring her to his son and say, "Here, this is your wife." It doesn't work. She has to be a suitable bride. He told Israel out of spouse, she has to chase for her. So what was the purpose for him to send her and allow her to be scattered amongst the nation and go into captivity? To what? To be proven. To be proven. So by the time he returned, she will be in the right frame of mind and understand the importance of submission and love, and know how to love and properly be or treat and be with her husband. There are certain things you have to endure. You're going to even he said, we're tried by the fire. But being tried by the fire, you're what? Gold is what? It's tried by fire. What does the fire do to gold? What is the
Purifies.
It purifies it. So even in our going through our trials and all, even when we went through as a nation, by the time we reunite and come into marriage, into a real commitment with our ish, guess what? All of the impurities should be what?
Purged right out.
They should be purged right out by then. There's a reason why he scattered her amongst the nation. He sold her amongst the nations. It's something that he was doing. He knew what she was. Wait now, y'all. We try to act like, hold on. We try to act like this woman was delicate and just a prized possession when he found her. Wasn't she, I almost said that word. What was she when he found her? What was the condition when he found her? Before he upgraded? Y'all ever heard that saying? And we grown. That's not a bad word. He took a hoe and turned it into a housewife. A harlot and turned and made her into something. She was terrible. She was in bad condition when he found her. He knew that, but he showed her his love. He showed her his dedication. But because of who she was, you know, you can't get away from your past. I don't care what you say. Your past will follow you. And this is what happened to her. You see the first thing she said when he brought her out and cleaned up? Did she not say, so we had it there in where? Egypt. So let us return and go back there. So you knew that she was a changed person. So this is why it's important to see what's going on with the two houses. See the importance of why they were scattered, because it was a strategic thing. He did not just scatter Israel just anywhere, take and just sow them anywhere. They were strategically scattered or placed in those captivities where they went. And it all served a purpose. Now, let's go into let's go to Hosea 2 and 30, start at 13. Hosea, the second chapter, start at the 13th verse. Aki Abar Yahuah, read that all the way down to the 23rd verse. Hosea 2 and 13 through the 23rd verse.
Hosea 2:13. And I will visit upon her the days of Baalim, wherein she burned incense to them. And
So
she
right there. He said, I will do what?
burned incense to them.
Go back to it again.
Yes, it.
Oh, and I will visit upon her the days of Baalim.
Okay then. What does it mean when Yahuah said, I will visit?
Punish.
He means he's going to punish her.
Judge.
Yeah, judge. A punish, yeah. Go ahead.
Wherein she burned incense to them, and she decked herself with her earrings and her jewels, and she went after her lovers and forgot me, says Yahuah.
So bro, stop right there. Is he saying that it's wrong to wear earrings and jewelry? Before that question come back to me, let's get some understanding. We'll resurface. Okay, go there. Okay, go ahead, Al.
That was interesting. It says that the sheep decked herself with her earrings.
Her earring, yeah.
Her earrings, right?
Where'd she get them from?
Yeah.
The earrings of other nations. Continue going. Therefore, behold, I will allure her and bring her into the wilderness and speak comfortably unto her. And I will give her,
Go back to 13, read all of it.
13, and I will visit upon her the days of Baalim, where she burned incense to them, and she decked herself with her earrings and her jewels, and she went after her lovers and forgot me, says Yahuah. Therefore, behold, I will allure her and bring her into the wilderness and speak comfortably unto her. And I will give her vineyards from thence in the valley of Achor for a door of hope. And she shall.
Therefore, I will allure her. He said, I will bring her into the wilderness and speak comfort to her. He said he's going to bring her into the wilderness. He's going to speak comfort to her. He said, I will give her what? Vineyards, vineyards from there in the valley of Achor. The valley of Achor as a door of hope. Now, that's important to understand that when the nation of Yashra'al is gathered, there are places that we're supposed to be returning to. The valley of Achor is one of those places. You notice I said the valley of Achor is one of those places? So, he said he's going to comfort her, speak to her. He's going to give a vineyard and what? He said the valley of Achor shall be a door of hope to her. As a matter of fact, we'll cover the valley of Achor a little later on in another lesson when we start doing something on the wilderness or the Achor. Go ahead. She shall.
I was going to start all over. And I will give her vineyards from thence in the valley of Achor for a door of hope, and she shall sing there, as in the days of her youth, and as in the days when she came up out of the land of Egypt. And it shall be in that day, says Yahuah, that thou shalt call me each, and shalt call me no more Baalim. For I will take away the names of Baalim out of her mouth, and they shall no more be remembered by their name. And in that day will I make a covenant for them with the beasts of the field, and with the fowls of heaven, and with the creeping things of the ground. And I will break the bow and the sword and the battle out of the earth, and will make them to lie down safely. And I will betroth thee unto me forever. Yeah, I will betroth thee unto me in righteousness, and in judgment, and in loving kindness, and in mercies. And I will even betroth thee unto me in faithfulness, and thou know Yahuah. And it shall come to pass in that day, I will hear, saith Yahuah, I will hear the heavens, they shall hear the earth. the earth shall hear the corn and the wine and the oil, and they shall hear Jezreel. And I will sow her unto me in the earth, and I will have mercy upon her that had not obtained mercy, and I will say to them which were not my people, Thou art my people, and they shall say, Thou art my Elohim.
Okay, stop right there. Now, what's going on right here? So who specifically is he speaking of right here? What did you say?
Said Judah.
He said who?
Northern Kingdom.
Okay then. I've been here. Okay, Northern Kingdom. So he's speaking of Northern Kingdom here. So with that, he's talking about betrothing this woman. And we see the condition that this woman was in, and we see that she's going to be brought out of this condition. Now let's go to Deuteronomy 24 right quick. So remember, he was married to Israel and Yahuah. Well, if I keep shellac to get that.
What
And,
verse? What verse?
starting at the first verse. And we're going to ask Aki to get Jeremiah 3 and 14. Deuteronomy 24:1.
Right. Oh, so who's the other Aki in Jeremiah?
Right. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Okay. So starting at verse 1?
Yeah.
Deuteronomy? Chapter 24, starting at verse 1. When a man have taken a wife and married her, and it come to pass that she find no favor in his eyes, because he had found some uncleanness in her, then let him write her a bill of divorcement, and give it in her hand, and send her out of his house. And when she is departed out of his house, she may go and be another man's wife. And if the latter husband hate her, and write her a bill of divorcement, and give it in her hand, and sendeth her out of his house, or if the latter husband die, which took her to be his wife, her former husband, which sent her away, may not take her again to be his wife, after that she is defiled. For that is abomination before Yahuah, and thou shalt not cause the land to sin, which Yahuah thy Elohim giveth thee for an inheritance.
Okay, thank you, Aki. Okay. Because remember, he was married to both houses. But one was divorced.
Jeremiah 14.
Mhm.
Turn or back son children, says Yahuah, for I am married unto you, and I will take you one of a city and two of a family. Now bring you to Zion. I will leave you pastors according to my heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. It shall come to pass when you be multiplied and increase in the land in those days, says Yahuah. They shall say no more, the ark of the covenant of Yahuah. Neither shall they come to mind, neither shall they remember it, neither shall they visit it, neither shall that be done anymore. At that time they shall call Yahusha, the throne of Yahuah, and all nations shall be gathered unto it, to the name of Yahuah, to Yahusha. Neither shall they walk anymore after